Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who deserve double honors and who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth across the four corners of the earth. All right. Trying to wake up the remaining hopefully elect. This is Nama of the DC camp. And let me start off with this copyright disclaimer because I'm going to be using another video as a teaching tool. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use. Fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, non-profit, educational, personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. All right, so let's get to it. Now, this is Mr. Scott, his podcast, and he's going to be going into something that we've discussed over the years. All right, these so-called organizations that Jake, for some odd reason, continues to put their faith in. All right. These sellouts, he's going to go into one in particular, the NAACP. You got to understand the history, the origins, all right, and none of these people have our best interest at heart, of course. It's a whole lot of money being exchanged. Basically what I'm saying is we've been sold out. The boule is real. They're looking out for the oppressor's interest. So-called white man who is of the nation of Edom. That is his biblical nationality. All right. This is still their kingdom. What do you expect when you really get down to it? Again, this is that faith and trust that people continue to, like the scripture says, trust in oppression. All right, and our people have not learned their lesson. Isaiah 30th and 31st chapters. All right, there's a history behind all that, and our people keep repeating the same behaviors. All right, let's get Lamentations 4 and 17 real quick. Start it off, because even if these people, and they have proved it time and time again with all the resources that they have, all right, that they're not willing. Why? Because our people never understood slavery in its proper context, the totality of slavery. Our people, and much has been done in order to shape our people's minds in that regard. What I mean by that is our people are stuck with the idea, and this is much as a result of this fucking school system that we all grew up in. Slavery ended in 1865. All right. They never teach you all the dirty, underhanded tricks through their legislation that they pretended to care, and you have to follow everything to understand that, get into the history of what happened after. Actually, the proclamation was 1863, but given the, slave owners wanted to delay that, and I believe it was in Texas that it took that long for the word to get there, so that's why that date, you see, 1865. So now after that, you had the so-called Freedmen's Bureau. You had all these things that were supposed to be set up in order to help us, which it wasn't. We basically just, get the fuck on. And then you had the prison and industrial complex, the birth of that. That's why I said there's a lot of history there that our people, they were never taught. These are things you have to go out on your own and research All right, but again, like they say, if you want to hide anything from a so-called Negro, you put it in a book. All right, and the greatest book of all right, where a lot of our history is, all of it, the important is in this, always has been. All right, how many of you have this in your homes or wherever you live, and it's just collecting dust? Because you were taught to go every Sunday or however many times you go to these whorehouses these harlot houses they call churches, and have this book dictated to you. All right, and not reading it for yourselves and praying for understanding. And lo and behold, you'd be surprised about the number where that exact scenario plays out. You just go there and let this guy that's been set up, tell you what Master told him. And in fact, that's what it is. They go to these schools, all right, and let your oppressor teach you about you. That makes oof. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and get to this video. I don't want to waste too much time. He's gonna go into, how these people that you thought had your best interest at heart really sold you out. So here we go.
Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we have something just utterly despicable that we need to talk about. Now, we know that these organizations like the NAACP, Urban League, the National Action Network, etc., we all know they're compromised. We know they're compromised because they are just...
You should know.
They don't be on the Democrats about doing nothing for black people.
The plantation.
They're not out there stomping for us at all.
Nope.
All of them are straight boule. But we all knew this, but we didn't have somebody actually come out and actually explain how these people are corrupt and what they're doing against the black community. So I was on YouTube, and you know how they just give you recommendations, and a video popped up. And this video was talking about food of all things. So I said, okay, yeah, let me look into that, because, the more and more I'm doing more research into the food and how it's killing us as a community, and even as just people in the country. There's a lot of things that are just so wicked with that. Well, I was listening to this guy. His name is Cali Means. He used to work for Coca-Cola and many other food companies, and he now has his own company called True Med, and he's always out trying to advise government officials and about what's going on in the food and why we're getting so sick. But there was a part of this video that really I homed in on. I said, I gotta do a whole podcast on this. So I want you to hear this clip. He's going to explain how, and he's going to mention the NAACP in particular, how Coca-Cola compromises these people and what they do to sell us out, and how they even weaponize racism for their own personal agenda. Let's go ahead and roll that.
And they want to keep food cheap, and they want to keep it addictive. So you have that strategic imperative for their business, and then it's like, how do we do that? And it's very straightforward. It's how do we rig institutions of trust? So who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are consumers. The stakeholders are lawmakers. So who do they trust? They trust civil rights groups. They trust medical organizations. They trust their schools. They trust their doctors. They trust researchers. So you literally just go down the list, and then it's very simple. It's like, how do we rig those institutions as much as we possibly can?
When you say rig, what do you mean? Use them against the public?
Well, let's go into specific examples. So the tweet was about the NAACP. So prominent civil rights organization has done amazing things in American history. But right now, prominent organizations like the NAACP, like the Hispanic Federation, like many other prominent civil rights groups are pay-to-play organizations. And this was as transactional as going to McDonald's and ordering a Big Mac. I, as a junior person,
wow,
had a strategic imperative to racialize the debate around whether we should stop food stamp money going to soda, which was a bipartisan issue. It's not complicated, right? When you call someone a racist or a sexist, right, it shuts down the debate. So we call up the NAACP. That, the PR firms have their number. There's a lot of partnerships, and you schedule a meeting. And it's not like we're going to evilly pay you, but it's like, hey, your constituencies, lower income African American children, like their Cokes. Here's the statistic, and they're trying to take that Coke away and trying to restrict choice. We'd love to do an honorarium, a donation, millions of dollars in this case. And would you marshal some of your allies, in various states and on the federal level to say that it's racist? What's trying to happen of restricting choice on food stamps?
What you heard is something that's very wicked. I'm talking about the NAACP. Wrong. And this is why we don't respect them. See, we all knew the things that in our hearts, something was going on with these people. They too tied in with these corporations, too tied in with the Democrats.
Salaka.
My moderate to severe plaque.
But as you heard what this man said, that it was bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans would say, yeah, we need to, get rid of this soft drinks and all this sugary stuff in food stamps. The same man has said that the government gives these companies $10 billion a year because of the food stamp program. $10 billion a year. So because they didn't want sugary drinks to be given to people that's getting food stamps, the Coca-Cola said, hey, as the man said, NAACP, we got this issue, and we need you in on this. So look, we'll give you a bag, a couple of million, but you need to come out there and say them taking away sugary drinks is racist. So let's really break down what the NAACP actually did to people. And we talking about, he's mentioning low-income black people. Now let's put this up on the screen. What you see on the screen is just the nutrition facts of a can of Coca-Cola that's put out there, right? So as you see, it's 140 calories a can, 45 milligrams of salt, total carbs almost 40, but it is actually in sugars, right? And we know the sugars is high fructose corn syrup, which is one of the worst sugars that you can have. So the NAACP came out and said it is racism to not allow black people to have that can of Coke. Now, NAACP, you shameless, bootlicking Sambos that you are. You sat up here, and I made sure to do this so you could see it. So for every 4 grams that you see on the sugar content is 1 tablespoon of sugar. So I took the liberty to give you a visual aid today. In that can is what you can see right here is 9.75 tablespoons of sugar. So it is racist, according to the NAACP, you wicked Negroes. It's racist to allow a child to eat this much sugar in one setting. That's racist. It is actually evil to be putting this in anybody's drink. This much freaking sugar. And you wonder why people are diabetic. This is racist to say take this away from children and other people to not drink this much in one setting. Listen, if you saw me out here feeding my child spoonfuls of all this sugar, you kept seeing me feed it to him, you say, what the hell wrong with that man and why he giving that kid that much sugar?
Good point. Let's get some scriptures because definitely, and this is an oldie but goodie, but straight to the point. These are these leaders, so-called, that were set up for our people that took the bag. This is Zechariah 11:5. It says, whose possessors slay them. We know overall our oppressor is Esau Edom, but he's got people set up as go-betweens. All right, kind of takes the pressure off of him. Much the same way, not only does he do it with our own people, but he uses immigrants. And I've made a couple of videos about that because Moab is complaining now. He said, we're tired of taking the brunt of all this anger. All right, not to get off, that's another video, but in much the same way, you know, he's bought off our people, and you use them against us. All right, and it's contributing to our, look at the statistics of our people as far as health. Try as you might, unless you're, I'll put it this way. It's a whole lot easier, and they know this, that's why they're doing this. It's a whole lot easier to eat all this fucked up shit because, let's just face it, it's cheap. Like the guy said, it's of course it's bad, but it's cheap. All right, and for the low income crowd, which what is Jake. All right, so here's why you have all this, like he said, diabetes. You know, the high fructose corn syrup. That's some deadly wicked ass shit. All right, and he made a good point also about other countries. All right, the shit that we eat here in America, which lets you know this is one big fucking experiment. The shit that they allow here, other countries don't allow that shit. And you got to ask the question, why? And yet, all you hear is, God bless America. All the more reason why we got to get out of here. We keep bringing up scriptures like Micah 2 and 10. And it indeed, in that scripture, toward the end, it tells you that it is polluted and it will destroy you. Let's get it real quick. In more ways than one. Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. And we're talking about up here, all right, because it is polluted. Get out of that mindset. Everything here, all right, is actually, as I'll get to, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you. All right, especially for our people. Everything here is designed to do you in one form or the other, even with a sore destruction. This is why we bring up other scriptures like going into Hebrews, the 11th chapters and the 13th chapters about we seek another city. All right, this is Hebrews 11. Let's see. And of course, this is the faith chapter. And, you know, it gives examples. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they may have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore the Most High is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. When you go over to 13, all right, we get down here, let's see. For here we have no, this is verse 14, for here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. This place is done. And he's going to make another good point here. I'm going to let him continue about, you know, I'm going to go to about like 13 minutes. All right.
And you just kept showing me feeding this sugar. Y'all would step in and say, what is wrong with him? Like, this man is abusing this child. But when you drinking freaking Coca-Cola, you're abusing your child too. It's the same freaking thing as this. So you wicked Negroes at the NAACP took money to make sure low-income black children could keep getting this right here in a can of Coke. You see how they sell us out? And that's with some food. Now imagine other things that they're selling us out on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They paid them to say taking away all that sugar is racist. And they also paid them to not say what it is racist too that happens to black folk. That's why they so quiet. Notice the NAACP is not the first one on the front lines. When something happened to black people, notice how quiet they are? Because they get paid, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we don't respect the NAACP and all these so-called civil rights organizations that's out here. Because what does that man say? They all pay to play. They all getting a bag. And they all showing up talking about they're going to speak for black folk. They get paid to promote Democrat to black folk. Understand, they out there only to get paid, folks. They're not out there to be looking out for you and looking for me. If they're supposed to be for black people, they're supposed to be looking at every means to help out black people. And also that same organization be out here talking about immigration. Now, how is the NAACP supposed to be talking about immigration? That's not even our issue like that.
Nope.
But that is, I love when people talk like this. And like I said, this video just landed in my algorithm. I don't even know who the podcaster was. I didn't know who that guy was. I just say, let me listen to it. I'm sitting here eating my food. Why not? These people are so compromised and corrupt in our community. And this is why we cannot listen to these civil rights organizations. We definitely can't listen to the Boule. We can't listen to all these old black media heads. We can't, because all of them are compromised, because all of them taking money from somewhere. You cannot be talking to me about Democrat and the way black people being treated right now by the Democrats and promoting them like that and let me know that you are getting paid. Look at even Boule Martin. He cuss you out because you don't want to vote Democrat, or you are questioning the Democrats. Why? Because he getting paid. Everybody getting a bag off of this pro-Democrat speech. Is also a big economy, as I told you before, to deliver up the black vote for the Democrats. It's a major economy in that. If I was out here just trying to get a bag, that'll be the lane I would go in if I was trying to get a bag. Why not? That's a big bag to get. But my integrity tells me I could never do nothing like that, because I can't deal with suckers. I can't deal with frauds. I can't deal with shysters. I can't deal with snakes. I can't deal with them kind of people, man. I'd rather take my time, and like they say, the story of the tortoise and the hare. I'd rather be the tortoise and take my time getting to where I need to be than taking the quick route and getting it and then losing myself, my soul, and at the end of disrespect of the people, because the people won't respect me no more. See, nobody really respects Boule Martin. Nobody respects the NAACP. Yeah, look, hold on. You took all this money to call this racist. This is racist. Giving black children this much sugar in a setting is racist. It's evil to do that to anybody. And you wonder why we having childhood diabetes right here. You wonder why our kids are dealing with so much obesity right here. The food. Do you know that they are many foods in America that's banned in other countries? It's banned. Or if you get the same food, they have to take out the crap they put in here in America and change it for the standards for them to sell it. That same Coca-Cola that you sell in America don't taste the same outside this country because they don't allow them to put that much sugar in it. I remember I had a Sprite, and I never drink them drinks, but I looked at the can, I looked at what was in it. The sugar content was like about 5 grams per serving. And in the cans they give you is like this. They don't give you them big 16-ounce cans. They say it right here, a small can. And it tastes so much better than a mess over here. And they use real sugar because they couldn't use high fructose corn syrup. These people, ladies and gentlemen, what I told you, we participate in our own oppression. It is the truth. We are too many black people dying every freaking day, man, of diabetes, heart disease, all these different things that black people dying, and you have these civil rights organizations taking money from these food companies to make sure to keep giving you all that salt, all that sugar, and making you obese, giving you high blood pressure, diabetes, and everything else that's happening to you. Do you know that 90% of the illnesses that we deal with is foodborne? So we change our food and get rid of the crap that these people are serving us, we can actually be healthier and turn ourselves around. But no, when you have people like the NAACP taking money to lie to make sure you can keep getting that much sugar and keep giving your kids this much sugar. Let me tell you something about that sugar stuff.
See, that's the thing. So many of our people, and he doesn't, or if he do, he's not saying it. Sometimes he'll talk in such a way that he must be, looking at us. Maybe he is, but I don't know. But sometimes he talks in a way that he knows, But I'm going to say this, just in case, all right. But whether he understands or not of us being, well, first of all, who we really are, is being the Israelites. And as such, being under the curses, all right. There's nothing really you can do about that until those curses are lifted. Thankfully, that's exactly what's happening. And, Deuteronomy 30:7, these curses, because, our enemy is experiencing these things too now. All right. So that's something else to look at. All right. There is light at the end of the tunnel. But where most people like him, they're talking about, generational wealth, which is way past. They don't understand that it's over for America first and foremost. All right. There's no partnering with whoever, people on this Africa tip. We're way beyond that now. This place is on the way out. People are fed up with America. And Revelation 17, 15, and 16 is going to happen. There's no getting around that. America has done so much wickedness to so many people. Our people, primarily and chiefly, all right? And that's the reason why they are going to pay, all right? This is a blood debt. This is not something that, for those of you that are looking for reparations, you can forget that. Because even if he were to do it, it's going to be done in such a way that you're going to have to pledge your allegiance to him. Wink, wink. All right, MOTB. Because they're doing away with the current monetary system for digital. And that's going to be abject slavery. All right. Worse, really, because this whole thing is being set up with this AI and all this other crap. The digital age and all that, Internet of Things. You're not really going to be able to do anything. Probably not going to be able to take a shit in private. All right. So these are things that are coming to pass. This prophecy being played out right before your eyes. So all this, really worried about what's in a Coke can and all that. These things were foretold. A lot of our people are going to have to die, irregardless of however they die. Like I said, yes, we know about the boule. Yes, we know that our people are taking the bag and sold us out. But you know what? Having said all that, these jakes don't care. They've been through media, various avenues of media, whether it be music, Hollywood, and however many different ways to get it. Everything here is designed to twist the minds, and they've done an excellent job twisting the minds, dumbing down our people, usually by exploiting us for whatever talents or gifts that we have and turning it back on us. All right. Think of it. We made beautiful music. What did they do? They corrupted that. They find these sociopaths amongst our people to sell us out, much like the drug trade and all that. And just sit back and watch, you know, everything go to shit and enjoy it. But our people have been so, you know, downtrodden and all that. Again, this is the Most High's doings, all right? But again, our people are still in love with America, and I'm reminded of Stalin's chicken, all right? And as the story goes, some say it didn't happen, others say it did, but the method or the psychology behind it, it's there, all right? And basically, it's talking about how he plucked the chicken and all that. In short, all the bad things he did to that chicken, and the chicken still came back to him and was dependent on him, and that's Jake and his relationship with the so-called white man. He'll do anything and everything to us, and Jake is right there. All right. Hey, so like I said, I didn't mean for this to go on this long, but I really wanted you to hear all of that to that point. And of course, I'll put the link in the description box, and you can rest. You've gone like halfway, so you can watch the other half if you desire to. But the point's been made. You know, these bootlickers, you know, they get, and you'll hear some of our people, whether they be in a medical profession or whatever, and soon, and this is when my ears perk up. As soon as I hear them talking about my colleagues and all that, you know they're in there. And, you know, me, I'm out. Because they're gone. They're in, you know. They're, yeah, Jake is got to go. A lot of Jake just got to go. Zephaniah 13:8. Zechariah 13:8. Salaki. So, you know, that 2/3 got to go. Hey, so with that, hey, until the next video, hey, shalom.